own people here knows you and chased you, Howard.
Ain't nobody chasing me, nigga. You crazy. Fool. Hey, put my jacket on me, man. It's cold out here. Do I get that favor?
You what?
Can I get a favor?
You got it. You got it on.
Stupid ass. Say, man, I'm killing you when I get out. You and your little punk brothers and that nigga there. And you don't believe you don't believe that I'll do something to your ass little sissy ass cousin or brother, whatever he is. He ain't nothing but a punk himself.
You run into my car, you can stop and talk to me, man.
Yeah, that's right, nigga. I got your handcuffs on too.
I'm not talking to you, baby. What you said, right?
Bitch, you raised mother.
In my car, I'd have shot you.
Hit it, Brandon. Your own people here.
All right, Shalom. First, I want to give up praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Unto thy foreigners, when they see the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. If you don't believe there's reincarnation in the scriptures, this right here will kind of prove it. All right, this right here would kind of prove it. His whole style, his whole demeanor, and what does it look like? It looks exactly what it is today. That nigga probably just died shortly after that, unbeknownst to us. All right, and he came back during this time, about to get got again. And there's a whole bunch of these mother effers out there. And we all familiar with it. I'm surprised he had a bonnet in his head. But this behavior, this niggerish behavior, is nothing new. And that's the sad part. Especially from an era that was back then. And look how you act. Emotional. Daddy issues. Mom, you clearly could tell he was raised by his mother. Okay? He sees another one, a person that look like him is on site. You just could tell. Look at him. Damn. Why this shit popped in my head. Damn, I want to hold on for a second. Should I ever do that? Yeah, let me get that. All right, this is from the great movie CB4. Came out 1993. I'm gonna let it rock.
That's a pretty little thing.
Yeah, this bitch got all the bitches. We was just reading about you, bitch. You know, your ready rooted funky ass truck driving father was right. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Taking advantage of me? Gusto? Boy, I'm 3 generations deep in gangsterdom. 3 generations.
So he's 3 generations deep of gangsterdom. And naturally, this is where this guy, I don't know if it's still there. This is where he pops up. Okay? So this guy probably had offsprings out there. He probably had some kids running loose out there. All right? That produce majority of the outcome. And then he came back as one of these YNs of today. Probably live in Chicago. It's probably Chicago right here. I won't be surprised. So he probably came back doing the same shit, looking real stupid. I don't know what the fuck he got in his lips. You know what I'm saying? Threatening every black person. This guy looked like Virgil from WWF back in the days. But yeah, this shit is sad, man. This is sad. This is what we don't. I'm laughing about the matter because it is what it is. But this it's a sad situation. This is why this behavior, this attitude cannot enter in the kingdom of heaven. All right, that's impossible. The Lord's not gonna allow that shit to come. He already allowed this right now with his people doing the shit that they're doing. Okay, they're not gonna make it in the kingdom of to the kingdom of heaven that way. The nigga dies here. The Spanish speaking niggas, they don't. All that shit dies here. You're not bringing that baggage to the kingdom of heaven. The Lord is not allowing it. All right, He's not gonna suffer that shit no more. Cause right now we all tired of seeing niggas like that. It's funny, for films. I mean that movie wasn't that funny, but it was a parody. But Charles, what's this guy's name? Charlie Murphy. When he said 3 generations of gangsterism, he's basically saying that his daddy was a gangster, his grandfather was a gangster. So they were called gangsters back then. Then a guy named Tupac Shakur, he find himself calling his sector of Negroes thugs. So for a long period of time after his death, a lot of niggas called themselves thugs. So thugs was just a normal thing. And then you fast forward, then there was a process of time where they called themselves, what's the word I'm looking for? Savages. Can you believe that? They called themselves savages. And then you have the dreaded, the absolute worst of the worst, the YNs, young niggas. So niggas got worse. All right. This is what I'm gonna get. Matthew 24:42. The queen of the south shall rise up in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, for she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and behold, a greater than Solomon is here, which is talking about Yahushua is talking about himself. He was going into the history. All right, he was going to the history, and that history was what? That Solomon was the wisest man. Back in the days, in the ancient world, wisdom was the ultimate goal. Today, it's all about making money. It's all about how many ends you make. There was another nigga that made a statement, and his statement was, I forgot where I saw this. He said the new currency is how many bodies you have. So this is a far evil, sadistic generation of people that we around. It says, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through the dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Then he saith, I will return to my house from whence I come out. So when you hear this word, the spirits they remove from you. So even back then, as a generation, there were things that they were being cleansed. There was that era was black and proud and all this. Not saying that they was clean all the way, but when you when you analyze it, there was a sense of pride. But you always had niggas that was just far worse. It says, and when he come, he findeth empty, swept, and garnished, which is when you hear this word, you're clean by the word. It says, then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of the man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. So what the Lord was talking about, he's talking about this particular generation right now. This is a wicked generation. Okay? They are worse than any other generation that could be counted for. And I grew up in the 90s. And I'm like, these niggas are fucking animals. I have another video real quick. But
What is your job? Do you work at the present time?
Yeah.
the 1990s.
What is your job?
Homicides and robberies.
So at this point, you're not going to tell us who the guys are who were with you?
Me and two ghosts on that murder. Me and another ghost on the other murder. Me and another ghost. Me and three ghosts on the other. I'm fully responsible for whatever.
Are you going to tell us who the other two people that were with you?
No,
And why is that?
I don't tell on no motherfucker.
Was this random?
What?
This incident, was it random? Were these guys just picked at random?
Yeah, they had rims and beats.
When you say
They
beat,
was
when you say beats, what are you
Loud
referring?
music, a whole lot of loud music. They was advertised. They was just waiting on somebody to come in and pick
What
this
does
shit.
what does rims and beats do to you?
Make my dick get hard. And I see rims and beats and gold chains and bankrolls.
What's it make you want to do?
Make me want to take this shit.
And if they won't give it up, what do you do?
I kill them. My dick get hard when I see the rims and beats. And I come when I kill them.
Do you work at the present time?
There's some wicked, evil individuals out there, yo. That's the shit I'm talking about. That shit cannot go into the kingdom of heaven. I told you, the 90s was fucking, there was some evil, sadistic motherfuckers. And it is like every generation of Jake just got worse and worse. Okay? They just got worse and worse. That's why a lot of bros that come from a particular era would always sit there and scrutinize because you knew a nigga like somewhat like that. Not all of them was like that. All right. As on Jeremiah 5:26, it says, "From among my people are found wicked men." So amongst the Lord's holy people, which are you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and there's countless other videos. It just happened that all these videos just end up popping up. And I was like, look at that shit. From one of the original YNs back in that time. And it goes further than that. Because why? There's always a generation of people which proves that there's reincarnation. Everybody comes to his lot. All right? So the wicked amongst us is always going to come back into that lot. And it says, they lie in wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap. They catch men as a cage is full of birds, so their houses full of deceit. Therefore, they are become great and wax rich. And he heard what he said. He seen the opportunity when he hears beats. His thing get hard. All right, so it's like an open invitation. Because why? There's spirits on people, man. There's fucking real heavy demonic spirits on people. Those times when none of these times were any good for Jake, because Jake was always oppressing Jake. Okay, that was not a lie. But where the disconnect comes from is that just like that movie Idiocy, in the very beginning, it shows you. Okay? Yeah, there's gonna be a little spoiler, but it needs to be said that the slow, dumb people were having children like wildfire and they reproduce. So when you have a generation of degenerates with degenerate music and movies and so forth, and they're just cultivating that degeneracy, this is what the evidence of what you get. I don't know. There probably was cops that was talking to him, but it sounded like it looked like a CIA session and trying to figure out what they was doing. Good movie to watch. They cloned Tyrone, and you could clearly see how they was cultivating that mindset amongst Jake. All right, they was cultivating that shit. They was pushing that shit. That was the normalcy. But once again, let me get that real quick since I'm keep saying it. Exodus 20 and is it 5? Right. It says Exodus 20 and 5. Thou shalt not bow down to thyself to them. No, talking about these other guys, nor serve them. For I, the Lord, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So the ones that hate the Lord always came back. These are the same individuals when he says right here, 2 Peter 3 and 4 or 5. I just read it the other day. There's 4. Matter of fact, 4. And saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. For this they are willingly ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. So there's a blatant willingness to be ignorant. Okay, there was a blatant ignorant spirit that's on Jake. This is why this is why we say the things that we say. The Lord can't do nothing with that generation. Absolutely nothing. He has to start afresh, and we all for it, because Jake needs to be taken out of their misery. All right, that spirit that was just a display. Because I don't have to show nothing of today. Well, I could show something of today, but that's just a display of a form of degeneracy that's amongst the Lord's people. And that shit cannot be tolerated. That behavior cannot be tolerated. Okay? That's not going into the kingdom. That shit dies here. Start afresh. All right? It's quite sad, but it's necessary that it needs to happen. Let's see. Hold on. That's Hebrews. Let me see. Was it 6 and 4? Was it 3? Slovakia. I gotta get this right. What are the states? Rest, right? I believe it's 6. Hebrews. Could be 3. It could be 3. There's another in Ezekiel. Yep, 3 and 8. No. Well, 3:18. Yeah, 4 and 1. It says Hebrews 3 and 18. Matter of fact, Hebrews 3 and 16. For some, when they had heard, they did provoke. Howbeit, not only that they came out of Egypt by Moses, but with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was not with them, and that had sinned, since whose carcass fell in the wilderness. So these are the undesirables. All right, these are the ones that question the Lord and so forth. And to whom swear he that they should not enter into his rest. But to them that believe not, so we see that they could not enter in because of their unbelief. And that's why that generation couldn't enter in. And this is a whole generation of Jakes that don't believe in anything. They just straight up backwards ass niggas. The title nigga has gotten so terrible. They give it a new definition. All right? That spirit that you see out there, that shit's not going to the kingdom of heaven. At least they repent. All right? That's the spirit of the world. You notice all these little YNs, they always wear the mask, even when it's fucking summertime. All right? They wear bonnets. The boys are effeminates. The females are aggressive like dudes. The Lord can't do nothing with that shit. All right? You got people out there mutilating themselves. How the hell are you going to bring back the next generation? So because of that, they're not going to enter in the kingdom of heaven. First, Hebrews 4:1. Let us therefore fear lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. The rest is what? The kingdom of heaven. All right? It says, for unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed did enter into rest, as he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise. So the Lord is like, I'm not allowing these people to come in the way they are. This is what proves that this whole Christian madness, come as you are, is unacceptable. That behavior is unacceptable. You can't come as you are. You can't be like this guy.
Do you work at
all right, who thinks murder is a sport, who sees a brother, a man just like him, like himself, and sees a victim who gets a hard on because he sees somebody else is flashing and he has substance. That chick, what do you do with something like that? And even Esau, the scripture tells you about it in Job, the 30th chapter, and how men chased them out, calling them thieves. So men of understanding would know a guy like this can't come. He can't be around. All right? You can't, there's no future for that. I won't be surprised if he says shortly after this, he didn't make it. There was a movie, a great movie, one of my favorites, Tales from the Hood. All right? I forgot, I think the guy's name is K-Dog or something like that. And it was something to that extent of Menace to Society. It was something to that case of Menace to Society and the play of Old Dog and everything like that. And the character was K-Dog. I believe it was K-Dog. I'm not too sure. I can't remember. And he didn't give a F. He just didn't give a fuck. And he said it, and that's how he was taken out, which was ironically funny. So the Lord is not going to bring in that shit to the kingdom. Matter of fact, 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. No, 2 Corinthians. No. It says, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Be ye not deceived, neither fornicators, people that worship different deities and so forth. All right, spiritual adultery. Neither fornicators nor idolaters, people that worship different deities, nor adulterers, men sleeping with other men's wives, nor effeminate. And that generation today is mad effeminate. Now, when you go into, it's crazy how Paul, the writers back then, they knew exactly how it was, because this was normal. So when you go up to the word effeminate, malakos, soft to touch, metaphorically in the bad sense, effeminate, of a Canaanite, of a boy kept for homosexual homosexual relations with men. Now, back in the 90s, because, hey, I like the man's music, but there was a lot to this guy. So, not only him, all of that generation of music, I'm talking about Tupac, all that generation of people that was in music was pushing that jailhouse mentality. So you had young guys that was going in and out of jail. All right? In and out of jail. And everybody named mama knows what goes on there. So you got a whole fucking generation of so-called hard dudes, hard individuals, and their whole thing was pushing that narrative out there. All right? When the pans hanging, that goes back to jail. And everybody knew. They said that basically that was a sign telling that you was open. So this whole design was designed for men, emotional men, to run rampant and to be a certain way. All right? That's all. That's why they have the mother in the house. The single mother was the cause of everything. Okay, this is why it says, real quick, I'm going to come back to this. Job 14:1. It says, a man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of trouble. His whole entire life, he's filled with trouble. His whole entire life, he has issues. This is the reality of today's environment. These men, they're not men. They're not men at all. They were set aside for homosexual relations because that was a custom that was going on in Rome. All right. So going back to this, it says, of a Canaanite, of a boy kept for homosexual relations with a man, of a man who submit his body to unnatural lewdness, of a male prostitute. And that whole hard rock style, whatever, once your ass get locked up, you may not come back. And that was heavily pushed back then. All right? I hate to say it. You had the locks. Their whole fucking thing was about jailhouse respect and all that. That's why they had the term D-block. All designed. It says, no thieves. Yeah, when I see somebody that has this, no covenants. You see somebody else that has, but you want, instead of you getting it, you want that what that person got. No drunkards, no revelers, no extortionists. Damn near everybody's a scam artist. Shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High. So the Lord is not with the behavior of his own people. That's why scripture talks about 2/3 that shall not make it. Right? They ain't gonna make it. Fuck that. That shit dies here. When you see a group of niggas, you just, you know what you say? I'm gonna cross the street. And it's a goddamn shame, because Whitey get a pass in the hood. Whitey get a fucking pass. But let it be it's in another Negro. There's issues there. Isaiah 51 and 20. Thy sons have fainted, they lie at the head of the street, all the streets, as a wild bull in a net. So a wild bull in a net, he's crazed because he's trying to escape the net. He's captured. So he's angry. So everything that's in his sight will get pale and destroyed. That's the majority of our people. That's why that guy was looking him that direction. All right, that was a pure nigga spirit. So how you gonna tell? I mean, you being detained by Esau? This is why Esau had to be in the neighborhood. Yeah, Esau would terrorize the quote unquote black community. They would do that. But goddamn, if they wasn't there, that's going to Romans 13th chapter, you niggas would be killing yourselves. Because when you see another one just like you, what do you tend to do? You want to take that person's life. Okay? And you don't have a fucking clue why. You're just blinded by rage. Because y'all have nothing but emotional hoes. And street niggas is nothing but emotional hoes. That's why they would shoot first and then ask questions later. And not caring about the repercussions of anything, of their behavior. They said they are full of fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy power. Therefore hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. You're not drunken by Mad Dog 2020s. White Irish Rose, Still Reserve. We drink 99 Bananas, Cisco, St. Eyes. What was the other joint? OE. You're not drunk by that. You're drunk by the rage of the Lord. It says, thus saith the Lord thy power, that pleadeth thy cause, the cause of his people. The word for cause, the Lord's contending with you. He's contending. And it says, behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury, thou shalt no more drink it again. So this is the last of that utter madness that our people are accustomed to. This shit is not going nowhere. Was it Amos 9 and 10 says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. And Jake has this attitude that nothing bad is gonna happen to them. That Jake carries that attitude, like nothing wrong is gonna happen. Well, guess what? You're wrong. The Lord is gonna judge you. Okay? Zechariah 13 and 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. So this is the end of the roller coaster. This is the end. Yeah, Tupac was right about one thing. The last of a dying breed. Right? That is the dying, the nigga. The nigga is dying. Okay? Because that shit, that way of thought and that attitude, that shit's not getting to the kingdom. Point blank, period. But the third shall be left therein, which is the elect. So with that being said, shalom to the elect in the nation Israel. Shalom.